Hello, Unnati family and followers. My name is Jayanthi and I'm a jewelry artist and I live in Atlanta. Thank you, Raji. I want to thank you for thinking I'm worthy enough to be amongst all these amazing women who are featured in Unnati Diaries. And once again, thank you. And it's humbling. It's humbling to be here and to be talking about myself and what I do. Like I said, I right now live in Atlanta, and this is my home studio where I have set it up to make the jewelry that I do. And I grew up in Chennai, India, though, the southern city of Chennai. Like, had a very fun and fulfilling childhood. Like most of us my age, we did not have cable TV or cell phones or any of those entertainments. So we played under the trees, we biked around, and a mom and dad made sure that something or the other, there was like some art class or some dance class or some music class that we were always part of. And we were also lucky enough to have access to a lot of art teachers in and around where we lived. So mom diligently made sure we went to all these art classes. So it was definitely an artful childhood. And then my dad played his part by mostly like taking us to a lot of arts and crafts shows. He had this fascination and so much respect for things that were handmade. So he would always point out to things and show us see the difference of this and the craftsmanship and this and how something polished by hand is different. And so the idea of always making something by hand was always there. It was always there. And especially if you grew up in India, your everyday life, something is always handmade. So that way it was pretty fulfilling childhood and upbringing. And then I think in 2000, I moved to the United States with my husband. And we got married in 2000 and moved here. The first big surprise for me about United States was like the craft stores. The shock you have, when you go and see the supplies and the amount of things that's readily available for you to pick up. There were watercolor paints. There were aisles and aisles of brushes or this or any craft you could think of. There were supplies. So I still got to do things with my hand. I still kept myself busy with all the craft projects. But of course, got tied to a job too and spent a decade in the cubicle. And but I still kept in touch with art. I still went to craft shows. I still spoke to artists and found out what they did, how they ended up doing. So that journey was always something of interest to me. And I went to bead shows a lot. It literally it became something that I had to go and see and talk and touch and feel those beads. And it was a fascinating time for me to discover what I liked and didn't like. And then I got a chance to stay home when I had my daughter. And at that point, there was this small bead store in and around where I lived. So I walked in and they had classes as to the very basic beads, how to string and how you finish off the necklace and how you actually can make something that you can wear. I was completely hooked after just that one class there. And then I learned a little bit of wire wrapping and how to make things and earrings and with wire and things like that. It just took off slowly from there. And then I started making for friends, and then I slowly started seeing other women similar to me whose stories are very inspiring. Facebook was pretty big at that point. This is maybe 2006, 2007. And things were just more available, and there was this sudden social media happened and everybody was being connected, and there's just so many inspiring women out there. And it just took me further and further and further into the jewelry journey as such. But I wanted more. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to do more. I just knew there were so many other options there, and I just had to go see and see for myself and just work more with my hands. And then I just got lucky. There's an art gallery very close to where I live where they teach how to make jewelry. I got into mixed media jewelry. Mixed media, how to work with resin, how you put different components together, and just let me just share an example. This is something I built by hand. That is Saraswati Devi's image inside, and this is a sheet of copper which I embossed, and I got to put this solder this on top, make the bezel, and there's resin inside. So this is part of some of the mixed media work that I do. And so I got to learn this. And the just the possibilities just blew my mind of how many things I could do, and the different things I could put together. And I didn't grow up with an engineering brain or anything, like, I didn't take toys apart and things like that apart to see what's inside. That's not how I grew up. But when it came to jewelry and things like that, I just had to take things apart. I just had to see how it was done. And I wanted to see how I can reimagine it and put it back together and things like that. So that curiosity just picked me. And then the whole inspiration part, like, there are things I wanted to do, but you stand out only when you do inspired work, like when you are inspired, and like, that's where you like really stand out. So I had to think it through, what inspired me, how I liked to interpret my work and things like that. So what inspired me was like nostalgia, culture, like old artifacts, and mostly like, like mythology and things like that. So this is a copper, a sheet of copper, a pendant that I built. This is like a part, this bells you see here is a part of an old anklet that I chopped up and put it in. And I built a bezel around, and the image inside is like, Shiva, Parvati and Ganesha. And the whole idea of this, I kind of made it look a little old, was these old pictures you see in the villages or the temples, or like, many of these shops you walk around in Chennai, you'll see the old pictures. They valued these pictures. They never threw these away because, it's something they worship. So the old mirror, the foggy mirror, the dust and dirt inside and everything, like, so that was the idea behind me building this. I'm yet to put this together as such, but so these are things that mixed media world opened up for me. And so my mind was running like, really, really fast, and like there was just so many possibilities and things to do. And it's just a fascinating world I'm in. And what jewelry means to me is one of the things I wanted to cover, what it means to me. It's just such a beautiful world to be in. And when I say beautiful, not just like, physically, like when you see a piece or anything like that, but when you put a piece of jewelry on, it raises your vibration. Your vibration goes up. You just feel good about yourself. And as your vibration goes up, everything around you also changes. There are so many things that are interconnected with how we vibe. And jewelry definitely has that possibility. Like, for example, like, can you like imagine like a crown, like a goddess, she wears a crown. Without her crown, she's just another woman. But that one piece of adornment changes everything about how we see her. So big or small or whatever it is, jewelry definitely has that ability to change the vibration and raise things around us. And as far as what my special skill is, there are quite a few, and I haven't really honed into one area or one part. Like I showed you the mixed media work. I also do like, beaded necklaces. This is something I'm yet to like, put together and finish, but this is the actual necklace that comes. It's fairly chunky. It's turquoise, and this is an old sterling silver bead that I sourced from India. And then just another kind of the bead necklaces that I've done. This is wire wrapping. So it's not on string, it's actually on a sterling silver wire. It's wrapped in sterling silver wire. And this again here is like a bead necklace. So the silver pendant is from India, sourced, and these beads are something I picked up at the local shows here. And then comes the silversmithing part. This is where I got, this is what, like almost like 4 to 5 years now I've been training to be a silversmith, where I could actually make things, like see things and like, be inspired and make things. Just to give you an example of this, this is, I had gone to Indonesia, Jakarta, and I got to see the National Museum, where there's this whole range of tribal jewelry that I got to see. One of them was this mamuli that belonged to the Samba tribe. It's shaped similarly, but I think it's more like a earring and things like that. So I came, like, and I cut the sheet of bronze, embossed it, all this markings you see around are stamping. And then I got to like, I soldered 2 pieces of silver on it, and I put a bail on it. And so this is the other part of my work, the actual silversmithing. And I can build prongs around things like, this Chinese jade dragon pendant. I built this prongs around it, and then this will go on a chain. So there are a lot of possibilities like this. And yeah, this is one of the rings that I built recently. It's a turquoise stone. So I got to make this out of like, a sheet of metal, and then like, set the bezel and everything. And so the possibilities are really endless. This is one piece that I'm super excited about. This is actually going to someone this week. This is a ear cuff that goes around the ear like this. And this is entirely handmade. So these things, this is something I'm very proud of. Like, it's a piece of wire that I get to like, solder in and come and make this piece. So as far as special skill goes, I don't know if there's any one such special skill, but I do have quite a few things that are possible. And of course, I do get, how can I put it? I do get carried away. I do like, spend a lot of time on certain things, and I have to get to the bottom of it. But that curiosity has led me to where I am today, where I can like say that I can do this, or you send me a piece of stone, I can build a ring around that for you, or you want me to make a necklace, I can do that. So it's been a lot of preparation and a lot of training to be where I am today. And as far as what advice or like what I can tell people who are pursuing their dreams is just keep at it. Just keep at it. Like, just keep like, pushing yourself, practicing, and like, the training and everything, whatever it is that you want to do, it will find you eventually. What you're seeking will find you, but you have to be very patient with yourself, not compare yourself with anybody else. That's something we always tend to do. It's like, look at somebody else and think that's how things should be, or like, how it should be. But be patient with yourself, because all of us artists have our own skill. We are all unique. We all have, there are things that only you can do. So it all comes down to that. And also there's one thing that I truly believe in. Talent develops when you practice in tranquility, and character develops in the chaos of life. And the fine thing is finding the balance between that tranquil life and the art, tranquil art part, and the chaotic life, that everyday life that we live in. The challenge will be in finding the balance, and this is the time where like, you will be able to do what only you can do. And that's how you can find yourself. And I'm still working on finding myself every single day practicing and trying to hone my skill. And I wish you all luck. And once again, Raji, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you, and signing off from Atlanta. Thank you.